Yeah.
No?
Yes.
Yes, we're live.
Hi, good afternoon, Saket. How have you been?
Good afternoon, ma'am. I've been well. How are you?
I'm absolutely fine. I'm fantastic, doing my best. So I believe that everyone here on the YouTube, everyone is doing great. Hansika, Parth, how have you all been doing, guys? How was your week like? So what were you all doing in the week, throughout the week? So by the time we get questions from everyone, Saket, you'll have to give me the sharing.
Yeah, I'm so sorry for that.
It's okay. Completely fine.
Done, ma'am.
Done? Okay. So by the time everyone talks about, I know everyone has already seen the thumbnail, the poster, what we are going to discuss and which country we are coming up with, because we have got a lot of questions on this country. Rahul, good afternoon. Parth, good afternoon.
Right.
Did you see the poster? Balaji, good afternoon. Did you see the poster? Which country are we discussing today? Devesh, wonderful. Good to see you back here. Studying for semester exam. Yeah, many colleges already have semester exams starting. We are doing good, just researching for universities. Osamu, wonderful. So good afternoon, Aryan. I'm still waiting for the poster. Did you see? If you did, type the name of the country. If you didn't see the poster, it's fine. Good afternoon. You just say that no, so that we know. Yes, Parth, which country? Yes, Neha, Australia. Yasir, hi. So we are definitely going to discuss about Australia and a lot of things in our kitty today. And I believe that many of you are planning for Australia, or you do have Australia as one of your options. If that is one of your options, do let us know. Rajesh, what is the PSW duration after Masters in Australia? So Rajesh, you will just have to hold on for some time. We'll come down to all of these questions. Ambika, good afternoon. Ria, Aussies, yes. Kapila, Australia. Yeah. Yes,
People are already using slangs. Aussie.
Absolutely. So people, I think some of the students, they are really smart and they start keeping themselves updated with the slangs they'll come across in their own journey. Yeah. Balaji, ma'am, whether we can get PR there. So yes, Saket will let us know everything about whether you can get a PR or not. Rishabh, tell about the commercial cookery. Okay, of course, Rishabh, do ask this question as we come to the topic. Osama, which is best, Australia, Canada, US and UK? Osama, this question is never ending. Every session we have this question of people asking us, should I go to Canada or Australia or US and Canada? But then we have been discussing, and Saket has been coming up with a lot of videos on all of these. Yes, Saket?
Yes, I think he missed out on two countries here, New Zealand and Ireland.
Yes, true. Yeah, true. Then you should also think of these two countries. Srivastav, I think, can't wait to crack IS. Absolutely. Contact number milega kya? Okay. Ma'am, which universities are good for architecture in Australia? Parth will do that. Ma'am, I remember of LeapScholar already trying for Canada and you. I am a member of LeapScholar. Okay, wonderful, Balaji. So high five to you. What about psychology, Surabhi? Okay, let's see what questions we have. Yes, Saket. So shall we start the session?
Sure, ma'am. So I think for this session, obviously, as in like, I think this has been demanded by a lot of students. Mm-hmm. Because I think Australia just opened up and they closed down again.
Exactly. Exactly. The day I saw it was supposed to open today, and again the same day they closed, shut down everything.
Yeah. I think that yes, it came as a surprise. Not a surprise, I would say, but it was just like they were planning an opening on 1st. And then on 31st, on 30th, they announced, okay, we're not opening. So we're just opening after maybe 15 days or something. So let's see how Omicron goes. I'm not really sure, if how this variant is going to play. But, as per the initial reports I've heard from a lot of people around me, and, because I know a lot of people who've been working in health industry, and they're saying that it's not as lethal or dangerous as Delta was.
So this is completely different from what we have been listening on news and newspapers around, that it's going to be in fact more deadly.
I don't know,
than
maybe
the.
it's just fear mongering, or maybe it's just that, I think the world has kind of bounced back ever since
Mhm.
Delta outbreak, I think, and people are not really kind of willing to get back to the lockdown again. No one wants that.
Right, right.
So
Right. Is
yeah,
it so? We
but
already have Osamu is saying that, ma'am, please don't increase options and confuse all more. The more. We get you. We get you, Osamu. We get you. What are the best universities which offer masters in UI UX in Australia? Drishti is asking, is it advisable to apply for a visa now for Australia, or should we be waiting? All of these questions will be answered in just a couple of minutes. Yes. Yes, Saket,
so
Australia, I think a lot of, we already know that there's a lot of demand from the student end to us to make videos and have live classes, live sessions on Australia. But I believe that
yes.
from what I know is like Australia has again been one of the most favored destinations by the our Indian counterpart, considering one of the reasons I believe is the weather.
Yes, definitely. I think, ma'am, when we talk about Australia in general, so Australia is, I would say, pleasant most year round. And if you compare Australia, especially in Australia and New Zealand, with maybe UK or European countries, Australia is regarded as more friendly country.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I would actually vouch for it, because I know a lot of Aussies personally, and Kiwis as well. And they'll stop you randomly on a street and start asking you questions, and get try to get familiar with you. And I've not experienced very something similar in the UK for that matter.
Okay.
Australia and New Zealand, on the other hand, very friendly countries. People will actually invite you to their homes as well sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so I've experienced it personally, so I can definitely vouch for it that Australia is actually a very, very friendly country, and I think that is why a lot of students would actually want to go to Australia. So in this session, we
Absolutely.
tried to cover, because this is the first session on Australia. So I'm trying to cover almost every information I can, so that someone who's planning, because Australia has been closed for almost like 1.5 year now,
Mm-hmm.
almost four
Yes.
intakes.
Mm-hmm.
So this session, I tried to kind of get into the nitty gritties of everything. Admissions, tuition fee, what are the living costs, what kind of part-time jobs and scholarships as well. Australia also is popular because of scholarships. So if someone is looking for 100%, 75%, 50% scholarships, in fact, it is the only country, I would say, wherein most students with say 60 to 65% can also get 20 to 25% tuition fee waiver.
Oh,
So that is why it makes Australia special. So it's a very good
wonderful.
country for someone who's looking for scholarships. Yes.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, guys, if you're all ready to know more about Australia, type bio, bring it on in your chat box. So we know that you're all ready, equipped, and geared up for the class or the session today. Rishabh is asking, can we go for certificate courses in Australia after doing bachelor's here in India? So is it like, will there be any problem in downgrading in the level of education system of Australia? Can you please explain about the fee structure? Yes, we are coming to that, Ambika. So I hope that you're all prepared, sitting with your notepads, your pens, everything ready and ready to make notes on what we are going to discuss in today's session. So Shivasav has already written bio. What about you guys? Everyone else in the session, bio, bring it on. Let's ask Saket to come up with everything, every detail that you have been anxiously been waiting on pins and needles, right? Okay, so going ahead with Bio Australia.
Right. So, guys, to start with, obviously, I think I've covered most of this in my videos as well. Australia is one of the most innovative countries in the world, I would say. And even if you look at the education system, or maybe the research and development capabilities or something like that, I will not say it's very it's not at the level of maybe UK or US, because Australia, it's a very young country. It was formed very recently. I think it's one of the youngest countries in the world.
Yes.
And the kind of boom they had, the kind of economic boom, and the kind of development they have right now, it's world class. And it's if you talk about Australian research and development capabilities, it's way higher than Canada, for that matter. I'm sorry to disappoint someone who wants to go to Canada, but Australian universities obviously renowned for their research and development capabilities. Highly ranked universities, if you look at world university rankings, QS, Times Higher Education, US News and World Report, you'll find almost 8 to 9 universities in top 100. Australian universities in top 100, and in Canada you'll find just 3. So obviously when we talk about Australian universities in general, as in Australia has around 45 to 50 universities, almost I would say 30 to 35 universities would be somewhere in top 2% in the world.
Wow.
So the number is that high. So you can imagine that how highly ranked the universities are and what kind of quality education they offer. Next advantage is shorter duration programs as compared to Canada and US. So in Canada and US, you get a bachelor's for 4 years and master's for 2 years. In Australia, you can get a bachelor's in 3 years. And obviously masters generally range between 1 to 2 years as well. Depends on, like what kind of program you choose. High quality of life and the best part, higher starting salaries in the UK and Canada. So if you look at payscale.com, someone who's researching salaries and what kind of salaries you can earn post you graduate, always check out payscale.com. They have average salaries, and if you compare it to UK and Canada, Australia is way higher. So Australia kind of comes in the zone of US only. So that is how much you can earn, and one of the major advantages is you can get a 4 years post-study work visa, which no other country offers.
Oh yes,
Australia can give you 4 years post-study work. Yes.
Oh, that's the reason we have a lot of questions in the chat box. People asking about what about the PSW, what about the PSW, what about the PSW. Yes. So yes, guys. So all those who had been asking on your PR and post-study work visa and the universities, courses, all of these, we are discussing all of them in the upcoming slides. Yes, Saket, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, but there are few tricks here. So there is a catch. So I'll come to that later in the slides.
Okay. So starting with admissions.
Right. So the basics, obviously, when you're looking at Australia in general. So Australia offers 2 intakes. One is February and one is July. So I would say the kind of options you get in both, intakes pretty similar. Like when you talk about Canada, usme shayad aapko, you get more options in September and less in January. But Australia, it's evenly distributed. So most programs will offer 2 intakes, July as well and February as well. Yeah, there would be certain programs that only offer Feb intakes. Like if you talk about nursing for that matter, nursing is mostly concentrated in February.
Okay.
So, but yeah, February and July both, you get both intakes. Applications, unlike Canada, applications are usually free of cost. So I can tell you like 4 or 5 universities that will charge you some sort of application fee, like University of Sydney is there, and then UTS is there. All these really high-end universities, they would charge some sort of application fees. Otherwise, most Australian universities are free to apply. So you can apply to any number of universities you can. Like you don't have to kind of, keep a separate budget for application like we do for Canada.
Right.
Obviously, the added advantage for Australian universities is you can also apply for a conditional offer letter. So conditional offer letter, I think most people would know that conditional offer letter is when you don't have, maybe your IELTS score or maybe your final mark sheet, which most Canadian universities would require. In Australia, you can freely apply and, you can get a conditional offer letter with your conditions listed in that. Next up is your IELTS and PTE. So IELTS is widely accepted, and the best part, all Australian universities would accept PTE as well. And apart from IELTS and PTE, they also give you IELTS waivers. So IELTS waivers are basically called MOIs, which is medium of instruction, and that you can apply when you can apply for a waiver when you apply to the university. So not every university will offer you MOI, but some universities will. So that will depend on where you studied and what kind of English level you have. So that is one condition. It will vary from person to person.
Perfect. So this is actually good for those who are not able to score a pretty good score. Like IELTS, they're not able to get this 6.5 overall or 6 in that case, or 6 in each for Canada and other countries. So I think this would be beneficial for those students who are not able to make the cut.
Right, ma'am, and plus, the added advantage here is if the university accepts you with, with or without IELTS, then you don't need that for the visa as well. Like in Canada,
Wow.
we do for SDS.
Yes,
But in
absolutely.
Australia, you don't require anything like that. So once the university accepts you, they're okay with it, okay with your English language proficiency, you can straight away file for the visa. The High Commission will not require any proof of language proficiency from the applicant.
That's excellent. That is right. Excellent. If you really like this information, that this is definitely something that you have to, that you can consider for applying to Australia. Your IS scores, and of course, not required for visa, means not essential for visa. That's right. Am I
Yes.
correct, Saket? Yeah. So guys,
Yeah, not
please
essential.
please make a note of all of these in your diaries, in your notepads, in your notebooks, wherever you are making notes. Ashish, I'll take up your question in just a while, right? Right now, just let us finish this slide and I'll take up your question. Excellent, guys. Yes, Saket. What about GMAT or GRE or SATs in that case?
Yes. So I'll start with the IELTS requirement for UG and PG both. So if you talk about Australian universities, a lot of universities are there. They'll accept you with 6 overall with 5.5 in each.
Mm-hmm.
But now the catch is this will vary as per the program and institution.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say there is a CQ University, Central Queensland University, which is again a public university and one of the top universities globally. They'll offer you a master's or a bachelor's in business with a 6 overall and 5.5 each minimum. But then there are certain universities like Griffith, they accept you with a 6.5 at the bachelor's level. So it will vary. It will vary as per the program and as per the institution you choose. So let's say if we're applying to something like University of New South Wales, University of Sydney, University of Western Australia, they'll generally require a 6.5 at the undergraduate level. But something like a CQ or Federation will accept you with 6 as well. So that will vary. Also, program also matters. The program also matters. So like, I think I spoke about it in one of the other lives we did. So I think Australia is very popular for students who want to go into nursing.
Correct.
So very, very, very popular country for nursing. Reason, number one is because it's one of the most in-demand jobs in Australia. Number two, jobs are very, very easy. And number three, you get really good salaries in Australia as compared to any other country. So as per the Australian government mandate, even if you go for a bachelor's in nursing, you need 7 overall with 7 in each.
Correct.
Okay. So that's a mandate. No matter which university you go to, your IELTS requirement is going to stay 7 with 7.
Got it. So anyone from nursing over here, planning for nursing in Australia, please do let us know. Durga, I think we have discussed about MBA also. MBA in Canada, we have already discussed in our previous many videos that you have missed on to. You can watch that. Please tell us some universities that provides masters in English. Yes, Star will let you know. Without IELTS, we get PR in future with MOI. Yes, Akarshan, we are coming on to all of that as well. Yes, Saket.
Right, and coming to your percentage requirements, I think I kind of forgot to add it here. So percentage, I would say ideally if you have 60% above, it's decent. 55% will also do, but I would say it's at least a 60% in your 12th will be really good, and similar for your PG as well. They do accept someone with a 55 as well, but that will vary from person to person and the course to course.
Wonderful.
Some course would have high entry requirements, some will not. And to wrap up everything, GMAT will be required by a few universities. Like if you talk about Australian Graduate School of Management, which is part of University of New South Wales, they have the highest ranked MBA in Australia, so they would require like an MBA, GMAT. Melbourne Business School, University of Melbourne will require. But then again, you have MBAs at La Trobe or Deakin. They can accept you even without work experience. So there are fresher MBAs as well. And then there are MBAs that require GMAT as well and work experience as well. Depends on where you want to go.
Okay, so that will require a lot of research into where they plan to go, what are their requirements, where they fulfill and what they fulfill.
What happens in Australia is like when we talk about Canada, I think the requirements are pretty straightforward. Like for every college, they would need 6 with 6.
Correct.
And then 6.5 with 6 for the PG. But Australia, it kind of varies with the university, basically. So every university would have a different requirement. Maybe, just give you an example here, nursing, uske alawa, if you talk about law, so law will also require different band scores across
Correct.
different,
Universities.
universities. Like, agar hum Canada mein baat karte hain, someone who wants to go for nursing, Canada will need maths in your 10+2, in your grade,
Okay.
12th grade, to get into nursing. But Australia mein, you can get options wherein you can go for nursing without maths as well. And then there are certain universities like RMIT, they'll require maths in your 12th grade as well. So there is a lot of variation in terms of admission requirements. So it's not standard.
Got it. So you will have to so unlike Canada, it's not straightforward as Saket just told us. So you'll have to keep in mind that you'll have to do a lot of research and connect with counselors. A lot of students are asking about how to connect with our counselors. So you can go to the website of LeapScholar where you can book a free call with our counselors. All the counselors at LeapScholar are expert in their own field. So you can book a free call where you can talk to them, find out the solution to your situation, and based on your profile, you can get information on where and how you can apply to the universities and the country that you desire. Why does LeapScholar not help in applying for UG studies in Canada? Gurveer, we are working on it. Maybe soon you may find something like that. You may be in future.
No, we do.
UG?
UG, yeah, we do help in UG.
We help in masters as of now, PG and masters, not for PhD and not for UG.
Okay.
So UG is we are in the process. So Gurveer, maybe very soon you will find something on LeapScholar website. What if a student is not able to require band score? Is there some other alternative to check the student's eligibility for English? PT.
PT is good to go, Natasha, I think. Latrobe. And I think Latrobe is pretty flexible with a lot of other things as well, as in like, I think they do accept TOEFL as well for that matter. I'm not really sure, but they were. Initially, I have sent some students. So yeah, they're pretty flexible. Go for PT. But what is stopping you from getting IELTS score?
Absolutely,
I think IELTS as an exam is much easier and much more convenient than PT or TOEFL for that matter.
Yeah, so it is definitely you should, if wherever you are stuck, I think you should check out where you are stuck. Where is it your understanding, comprehension, abilities, or language, the fundamentals of the language. Find out any good universities.
You can join, Natasha, you can join Manisha ma'am's class, you'll definitely benefit from
2 batches starting today. 2 batches already starting today, one at 7 p.m. and the other at 9 p.m. So go to the LeapScholar website and find 2 batches of mine, which are pretty short. Both are 2 weeks program. And if you are just lacking in one of the modules, then you can join the writing and speaking class that is starting from today itself. Starting salary might be lower in UK than Australia, but in UK, the living expenses lower than Australia, I guess. Is it? Utsav is asking.
No, Utsav, no. I think you're mistaken. I've lived in the UK. UK is not that cheap. It's very expensive.
Yes, very expensive. Okay, so we have next quiz for you, which I think Saket has already mentioned. Some of you are already asking about that in the chat. So I know this is going to be an easy question for you all. What are the major intakes in Australia? A, B, C, D, let us know. Rishabh is asking, can we go for certificate courses in Australia after doing bachelor's here in India? That was a course even initially. So is it like, will there be any problem in downgrading?
Well, Rishabh, I think I would like to address your question here. If you already have a bachelor's degree, there's no point of going for a certificate course because certificate course will not last that long. I think the maximum would be around 9 months to 1 year. But if you want to stay back in Australia and get a work permit, that's the catch I was talking about. You need to study for at least 2 years to qualify for a PSW. Okay. Unlike other countries where you study for 1 year only, you still get work permit. Like in the UK, you study for 1 year, you get 2 years PSW. In Canada, you study for 1 year, you get 1 year PSW. But in Australia, it's a mandate that you have to study for 2 years to qualify for a post-study work visa. And the duration of your post-study work visa will be based on this kind of city you study in. So I'll cover that in the slides.
So Saket, I guess everyone's really pretty attentive to the session. Everyone's got it correct for the first time. I have not seen anyone typing an incorrect answer.
Actually, I think the vibe is up for Australia, I think.
Australia,
Yeah.
actually. Yes. Okay. So yes, your answer is definitely correct. It is B, February and July. So there are 2 intakes in Australia. I think I also remember in one of our previous session we have covered, when we covered all the intakes of different countries, and you had mentioned this
Yes.
pretty clear that they will not accept gaps, and it is
Yeah.
February is the best intake for all, for especially for the UG students, because they've completed their
Yes.
studies and they can move within few months. They can move to Australia. So I do remember that part as well. So February and July. So yes, February and July for Australia, because this was odd one out of all the other countries
Yes.
that we discussed.
Yes.
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 Right. So
In
going
fact,
ahead,
some
yeah,
universities actually would offer November as well sometimes,
correct. So
but not all programs.
yes, so I do remember that it was the odd one out, and it stands uh, out of the other countries' intake. Intake timing. So I did remember that it was February. Tuition fee. What about the tuition fee? What about the expenses and the college fee that they will have to incur? Are there any
Right.
change?
Uh,
Hmm.
so, like, do we want to address any questions right now, or shall I
Uh,
start with this?
no, you can start after this. I'll take up a few questions because these are more questions based on courses. So this slide is on tuition fee. So maybe in the next slide we'll take up about the courses. We have a lot of questions on changing courses and the universities.
Yes. Yes. Right. So for tuition fee, for UG, I would say averages around 22,000 Australian dollars per annum, goes way up to 45,000 as well. And if you talk about medicine, dentistry, veterinary sciences, uh, 70K as well per annum. And obviously, when you talk about medicine, dentistry, they're like five years, and then it gets really expensive. Like the fee is in crores. But on an average, if you talk about a decent university, 22K per annum would be an ideal amount. And for PG, it's around 28. Like I said, it's variable. It depends on the kind of university you go to. Also, most universities in Australia would offer you some sort of scholarship, so you can expect some kind of discount.
Wonderful.
Like I know UTS will offer you, $10,000 worth of scholarship if you have around 70% in your 12th. So I think the fee gets lesser. So yeah, so scholarships are there. MBAs are usually expensive. MBAs, I'm talking about top business schools in Australia, like University of Queensland is there, University of Sydney, University of Melbourne, UWA, Adelaide. Here, the MBAs would be very expensive. But when we talk about universities like, Deakin, Latrobe, CQ, UNISA, Griffith, all these universities, MBAs are, I think, pretty value for money when we talk about their reputation and at the same time the cost of pursuing an MBA.
Right.
So that's all about the tuition fee.
I hope you all have made notes on how you're going to prepare for them, for your finances that you would require in order to study in Australia. What are the good universities? Okay, so going ahead with the next slide, now that you know about the expenses, especially the expenses related to the tuition fee. So MBAs are pretty expensive. So I'll give my whole, okay, so Rishabh is asking, so I'll give my whole background. I'm a hotel management BSc student and want to be a chef. So it's best for me to go for a package that is certificate 4 in commercial cookery plus diploma in hospitality. This package will something, I think he's still typing.
Rishabh, whenever you type next, just do let us know that which college or university you're looking at. Is it Blue Mountains Hotel Management School?
Okay, so Srivastava is asking one peculiar question. So how do we pay our fees, semester-wise or the total fee?
Well, I think the last time I checked, Australia has been closed, ma'am, for almost 1.5 years. So I think I've forgotten the whole fee thing. But I think you have to pay 1 year at least.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
even if you don't pay 1 year, you have to have that money in your account or something like that. See, guys, I'm sorry, but it's been 1.5 years that Australia has closed, 2 years. So I have kind of forgotten about all the rules because I never got the queries for Australia. I have to brush up a bit.
Yes. So we'll get to know that. So that was about all about your tuition fees. So apart from tuition fees, so as I think who said something, Umang I think said, Utsav said that living cost in UK is lesser compared to that of Australia. So here we are busting all your myths. How is it like living in Australia?
Living in Australia. So I actually want to answer this from Utsav's perspective only. But what happens is when you see the living costs online, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that is something which is an average data which is collected from a lot of people. So it's just that you cannot entirely rely on that data because it kind of hovers around that.
Correct.
So if we talk about Australia as a country, so certain things would be expensive, certain things would be cheaper. So I'll give you an example here. If we talk, it's a general perception. It's a general perception that New Zealand is one of the most cheapest countries in the world to live in English-speaking world, which is a general perception from India, because I think that's how the most of the agents or the study abroad consultants portray the country as.
Okay.
But I've lived there for so many years. I know it's very expensive, right? It is one of the most expensive countries I've been to. Traveling is expensive, milk is expensive, food is expensive. Name one thing and it is expensive, right?
Yeah,
so,
got it.
So it's a general perception which I think most of us we have. There was this video I made recently, ma'am. Usme I told I was I assumed part-time earnings in Australia as $16. Yeah, so Australian Australian government says 19 point something as the minimum wage. But guys, I've been there, done that. Not every employer will pay you minimum wage.
Okay.
That's a harsh reality. Don't go by that. कि हाँ मैंने नेट पे देखा था कि ऑस्ट्रेलियन गवर्नमेंट की वेबसाइट पे $20 लिखा हुआ है तो मेरे को 20 मिलेंगे. When you're looking for a part-time job, you cannot impose your stuff. Like not every employer will give you the minimum wage. I have also worked under the minimum wage when I was in the UK. Mm-hmm. So that does not happen. If you're lucky, it will. If not, then you have to work. Right. So you cannot impose those kind of things on someone. So that's the harsh reality, right? So coming back to living cost. So recommended amount by the Australian High Commission is around $21,000 per annum, which you basically have to show for your visa application as well. Overseas health cover, which is the OSHC, which is again the Australian equivalent of your IHS, that is charged extra. So technically what happens is when you receive your offer letter from the university will include OSHC as within your offer letter, but you can also independently buy it. So a lot of companies would offer. So I think there's Bupa Medical or something that offers OSHC, but it's always recommended to get it from the university itself. Living cost will vary from city to city. Now, this I can practically tell you that, let's say if you live in Sydney or Melbourne, it's going to be as expensive as, say, London or New York, right? Not up to that level, but yeah, maybe matching. It's like, Australia's version of London and New York. Then if you go to a smaller city like, Adelaide or maybe Hobart or maybe Darwin, the living cost will drastically vary, primarily because the rental cost would be low. And plus, Australia is really pushing regional areas. Regional areas are basically cities which are not Sydney, Melbourne, and Brisbane. So everything except these three cities, like including even Perth or maybe Hobart or Adelaide, everything which is outside Sydney, Melbourne, and Brisbane is a regional area. And now, the regional area may have higher living costs, like Perth is also regional, but again, it's a big city, so living cost will be higher. But in regional area, the major benefit you get is you get a 3 years PSW. Okay. So if you study in Sydney, Melbourne, and Brisbane, any university in these three cities, you get a 2 years PSW. And if you study outside any of these three cities, you get a 3 years PSW. And then within the regional areas, there are really, really regional areas, which are like really remote, like small villages and stuff. I will not say villages or towns or something. There you get 4 years PSW. Okay. So that's a whole catch, basically. Okay. So what the government is trying to do is, they're trying to push students towards regional areas so that these areas also can kind of grow, because not many students would actually want to go into a small town in Australia.
Correct.
Everyone wants to go to Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, all these areas.
So Ambika is asking a question: doing master's degree in Murdoch University in ECU Perth, is it worth?
Ambika, out of these two, I would say ECU would be a better option, but I'm not really sure what your, if you're looking at Perth only, then I think ECU is the way to go. But if you're looking, if you want to move, if you're flexible with the location, have you thought about maybe Latrobe or Deakin or maybe UTS as well? Maybe something like Charles Darwin University in Darwin. That's also a good option, and obviously you get higher, almost like 3 years PSW, because even Latrobe has campuses in regional Victoria. You can try that.
Parth is asking a peculiar question: we should first apply to the universities or for the visa and OHSC?
Obviously university, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Parth, of course, you have to first take admission in the university before applying for the visa. They won't give you just visa like that. You have to show them that you have an admission with you, and hence you're applying for the visa. So first, it is always a university. Yes. So after living cost, we'll move on to a quiz that is here for you all. We'll take up your questions as well. So guys, let us know which of these Australian cities is regarded as a regional city. Is it Melbourne City, Perth, or Brisbane? Let's see. We just discussed it. So Rohan is asking, hey sir, looking at other options beside UK for MSc Finance, is Australia a good option for finance, and how are the job opportunities in finance there? Is it the same as UK, Singapore, or New York?
I would say better than all three, especially for finance and economics. And Rohan, if you want to go to Australia to study finance, one thing, just make sure that your degree is for 2 years. Like I said, if you don't have a 2 years degree, then you don't get a PSW. So make sure your degree is 2 years. Second is, I'm not really sure about your budget and everything, how much you want to spend, but if you're going for a finance degree, I would recommend going to a group of 8 universities. So group of 8 universities is basically, Ivy Leagues of Australia, or maybe Russell Group of Australia. So it has 8 universities. So just for your convenience, if someone is targeting top universities in Australia, so these are the 8 universities you should target. That includes University of Sydney, University of Melbourne, University of Queensland, Monash University. Then there is University of Adelaide. Then there is University of Western Australia. Then University of New South Wales, and Australian National University. So if you go to any of these 8 universities, the kind of job opportunities really, really open for you, because they're really good universities. So go for Monash or Adelaide if you're on a budget. And if not, then I would say Melbourne or Sydney would be a very good choice to go for finance.
Sarvesh, average fee for MS, that is Masters in UI UX, is on Australia. I think that's what we discussed in PG. 28,000. That's what you mentioned, right, Saket? Or would that vary?
But for somewhere around 30K, I would say.
Okay. So answer for this particular question is Melbourne, Sydney, Perth, and Brisbane. Come on, we did talk about three major cities just like London, and one city that was not similar to London. So option C, Perth?
Yes, it's Perth, yes.
Yeah, we have almost everyone answering Perth except for 1 or 2. But Perth, yes, we got that as the answer. Wonderful. So we have Rishabh here, who's now, I think, posted his entire question. The package, certificate 4 in commercial cookery plus diploma in hospitality, be 2 years. So there won't be any problem in PSW. Just tell me that, can I downgrade in the level of education? William
Angus, okay. Okay, so Rishabh, this is a very tricky situation because you already have a bachelor's in hospitality, as far as I know. The institution is good, not a problem at all. And, for cookery and all, getting jobs is easy. And, obviously getting PR is easy as well. But yeah, it will be a downgrade, definitely, because it's a certificate level program. And, have you tried maybe Blue Mountains Hotel Management School? Maybe, if you can get a postgraduate level qualification is going to benefit you in the longer run, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the catch. Even that the problem is like, a lot of Australian universities and colleges will not offer anything which deals in practical cookery. Even that is case in New Zealand as well. So I think most of Indian students, they end up doing UG programs in cookery.
Right.
So which are basically like something similar they're studying just at the advanced level from India.
Right. So here with that, we come down to part-time jobs in Australia. Another sort of the question for all Indians going abroad. What kind of part-time jobs are available in Australia?
So I think, ma'am, it's pretty similar, pretty standard, like most other Western countries. You can work 20 hours a week, but part-time during your term time and 40 hours during your vacations. So I think I already discussed that 19 point something. I think it has increased now.
Yes,
is the minimum wage, but the average salaries still hover around 16 to 20.
Right.
So that's from the real account of my students who are studying in a lot of Australian universities.
I would like to take up a question from Tanishka, which is really interesting. I already have an offer letter from Monash, but because of border issues, I am in dilemma about applying for a visa. Do you have any suggestions? Should I wait for the borders to reopen or change the country?
See, Tanishka, I think Monash is very, very good university. Very good university. So if I was in your situation, I would have waited. Yes, just wait for December. I don't know which which intake you're going for, like February or July, but if you can just wait December and then see how the Omicron variant kind of ends up, and if it goes haywire, then I think then Australia might not open anytime soon. Then I think if you're getting into Monash, getting into you can get into UK as well, at a good uni, so you can try UK as well. But UK, obviously, you can get September now, September 22.
Right. Okay.
Rishabh ma'am is also saying that Blue Mountains do not have courses in cookery. Okay, Rishabh, I was not aware of that, to be honest. So see, as long as if you can find something in professional cookery, I have not assisted any student for cookery in Australia. But yeah, you can go for it, but it's definitely a downgrade. William Angus.
Right. So what type of a question from Pranali is, what type of part-time jobs are available in Australia?
I think, Pranali, like anything you get in the UK, Canada as well, you can work at a grocery store, you can work at a restaurant, you can work at a gas station, cafe, you can work at university as well. So Australia, like I have met so many students from Latrobe, and it's a huge campus. Like it's like, I don't know, 600 acres something. Pretty huge campus in Melbourne, and so many students, they work on campus. So the best part with Australian universities, so many on-campus jobs. So you can also try for on-campus jobs, working in a library or working as a research assistant or something like that.
Right. Okay. So that was about part-time jobs, and then comes the next slide, that is scholarships. Yeah.
Scholarships are the most interesting thing to cover, I think.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So like I said, scholarships, they can range between 20 to 100% tuition fee waiver. And then again, Australia is one of the most generous countries to offer scholarships. So if you check out, any university at any given time, they would have 100 plus scholarships on offer just for international students. And every university will offer some sort of 70 to 100% tuition fee waiver. And that applies to both UG and PG students. And for PG research students, someone who wants to go for an MPhil or Masters of Research, they can also receive living allowances. So that's again, a benefit of choosing Australia. Obviously, scholarships, like I said, I always say that scholarships, there's so many scholarships. I cannot remember every scholarship on top of my mind, but just to give you an idea that top end universities like Monash, Deakin, Latrobe, ANU, Australian National University, USyd, UNSW, they'll offer some sort of 100% tuition fee waiver, UTS for that matter. So yeah, so it's pretty I think pretty cool, as in, like, you receive almost 70 to 80 lakh rupees off directly.
Yes, absolutely.
But again, it's very competitive, ma'am. Very competitive.
So I was just this thought came over that is one of the reasons that students find Australia to be friendly, even from this perspective of the universities, that they avail scholarships.
Sort of, I would say, ma'am. Actually, I came across this really good advertisement by CQ. I'm just going a bit off topic here, but I'm just telling you how friendly, and how innovative these universities are. So CQ is one of the public universities in Australia, Central Queensland University. They have multiple campuses. So they have just, because they know students are in a dilemma right now, whether they'll get a job or not whatsoever. So what they're offering is, you study at CQ for a bachelor's. And after you graduate, if you don't get a job, the university gives you 1 year free diploma, graduate certificate. You can study at CQ for 1 year for free. So it means the kind of confidence they have in their placements and stuff.
Absolutely.
So someone who's from India and wants to go to Australia. So this is, I'm promoting CQ for free here, actually.
They should sponsor you for that.
And guys, the best part, IELTS requirement is just 5.5 for most programs.
Oh,
not for all, but maybe for business people.
Yes. And even if there are, I think they have a lot of these foundation courses for Australia.
Ma'am, foundation, what happens is foundation is tricky because foundation, we don't really have good visa success rate.
Okay.
Yeah. So in case if you don't meet entry requirements, then there is another option called D2D. It's called degree to diploma. So what happens is most of the universities, like I'll give you an idea here. Latrobe has, Latrobe College, right? So Latrobe College, you can study for 1 year and then move to Latrobe University. Latrobe College is not different. It's on campus. And on campus as in it will be based on Latrobe University campus only. The only thing is the batches are small and you do have to attend certain English classes or something or whatever, so that, you can actually kind of prepare yourself for the Australian academic workload in the second year.
Right.
So it's more personalized attention and small batches.
Correct. So that is really an interesting thing for all the Indian students, especially those who wish for smaller batches and individual attention. So I think that is a good choice that you all can make over here. So of course, you'll have to do a lot of work over here planning for Australia, but our counselors are well equipped. You can connect with our counselors. You can take a free call with our counselors. You can go to the website of LeapScholar, book a free counseling session, talk to our counselors, and then decide for yourself. Does a part-time job help us to live there? Okay. Is that sufficient enough to cover the expenses?
Sufficient as in like, I would still say, ma'am, I have seen so many students who would do fine with a part-time job, as in like, they would be happily, as in like they can manage their finances well and they can kind of, live comfortably. And then there are people like me who are very unwise with money, very bad with money in general. So for me, it was difficult. But I know a lot of students who do survive on their part-time earnings. That's not a problem. If you're a shopaholic, if you spend too much, if you eat out too much, the irony is I tell my students, okay, don't do that, don't do that. But I've done that. In my time, I've done that. So I used to be broke sometimes. So it's interesting, if you, but the best part is, guys, Indian community is everywhere. So even Australia, for that matter, if you get broke, go to the nearest Gurudwara and have lunch and dinner there. That's what I used to do as well.
That's nice.
That's a life tip.
So I think it's not bad at times to indulge yourself, but then you will have to be wise enough. Like for Saket, he knew how to come out of it maybe, but then guys, if you are broke and if you don't know how to come out of your situation, then it's not going to be beneficial for you. So make sure that you make some wise choices. If you can work you work. If you cannot work, let's say you are an academic student and focusing, because I have seen this as well. Students who are academic oriented, they are so busy with their research work and studies and all. So even they are not able to find time for part-time jobs in that case. So
Yeah.
I think they do, and they do require help in that case. But then make sure that you are doing at least one of them, not going out of track for both of them altogether. So there's a quest for you here again. How many years minimum do you have to study in Australia to be eligible for a post-study work visa? We already discussed that. And we'll take up your question. Utsav, I'll take up your question as well. So is it 6 months, 1.5 years, 1 year, or 2 years in order to receive a PSW? So
I think Drishti is asking a question from a very, very long time.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Is UK a good university for masters in international?
A good university.
UQ,
yes.
Yes.
Drishti, it's group of 8 university and located in Brisbane. I think really good to go ahead with UQ.
Yeah, okay. So Drishti, finally we've answered it. Thank you, Saket. Ankit is saying, I did the UG in mechanical and want to apply to Australia. Is there any recruitment for now, and how can I apply for that, and what will be the expenses for the same?
Okay, mechanical UG. Right, so you can go for a master's in mechanical or related fields or something like that, or maybe if you want to go for a master's of business or MBA as well. I think Australia is pretty okay with it, pretty flexible, as long as you can kind of write a good SOP and everything. So I think pretty okay to go ahead with a master's in management related programs.
So Saket, does gap matter in Australia as well?
Yes. Gap is something which Australia really grills you about. As long as there is a genuine reason for it, I think, like, how UK and Canada are still very, very flexible that ways. Australia is little on a tougher side. So just make sure that you don't have irrelevant gaps in your profile. And I think a lot of students here, just some additional information, if you're married and you're wanting to go on a spouse visa, then Australia has certain conditions as well. Like your marriage should be at least 1 year old, and your spouse should be, obviously if you're going for a bachelor's, you cannot take a spouse. But if you're going for a master's, your spouse has to be at least a bachelor's degree holder.
Interesting.
So they're pretty strict. Pretty strict.
So Utsav is asking a question. I think earlier what he said was something, I won't say funny, but then sorry for going out of topic. I'm actually stuck at a very odd situation. I have another person with me. If I go abroad, I have to go with that person, or I cannot go, but I want to go.
He added a bit in the later comment. He wants to study geography, and another person wants to study comparative literature. In Australia, geography and comparative literature,
which is good for both these subjects, because I think they have to be together.
Yeah. So I can suggest you, I think, Melbourne or Sydney. Out of these two cities, you can choose. You'll get both of you will get some sort of options.
Right. Which is the best university for MS cybersecurity in Australia, and what is the demand for this course?
Cybersecurity is very, very high demand. Cybersecurity, data analytics, data sciences. I think Australian universities were the first. I think they had a first mover advantage because they were the first ones. One of the few universities that started these kind of programs, and then it kind of. Australia did have a lot of universities who were like first movers in this field. Then I think cybersecurity. Lot of universities depends on what's your budget, but I think if you want to go for cybersecurity, then University of Sydney is decent. University of Queensland is also there. I think University of Western Australia also offers cybersecurity. And if you're looking at something on the budget side, something affordable, then something like Latrobe or Curtin would do, I think, for cybersecurity.
Yeah, Meenakshi, next question will be yours. But for the answer for this question is 2 years, right? D, Delhi, Delhi, 2 years, that in order to acquire a PSW, you'll have to study in Australia for 2 years. Right.
Yes.
So, yes, we are taking up your questions now further. So, Meenakshi is asking for long universities. She wants to study agriculture and I think a PhD, agriculture courses in Australia for PhD.
Agriculture. Meenakshi, agriculture is not really, I think, uh, like I've not seen really many people go to Australia for agriculture. Why don't you consider New Zealand? It's actually an agricultural driven economy. And if you're looking at New Zealand, then Australia, to be honest, I don't remember any university on top of my mind for agriculture. Reason being, I've never counseled anyone for agriculture in Australia. But New Zealand, University of Lincoln is a very good option. So they have it's a technically dedicated to agriculture, and getting job would be very easy in New Zealand, especially agriculture. If you're thinking of moving to that area, I think New Zealand will make more sense. But I'm not really sure about any universities right now on top of my mind for agriculture in Australia.
Right. So I have a question here from many students over that what would be the eligibilities and requirements to apply for a PR after studying in Australia?
See, PR in Australia is, to be honest, I'm not a PR expert, but if you do have a stable job and everything, I think see, it kind of varies from person to person. And if you do have a stable job and obviously I think you need to appear for IELTS again or something like that. Certain programs would be in demand, as in that they appear on a shortage list. Like chef would be there, is there, advertising executives is there, something like doctors or physiotherapists or nurses and all. For I think these kind of people do get easier PR in Australia. But yeah, I have seen students who have struggled, but at the same time, I have seen students who have a stable job and already on the way to become permanent residents. So it is. I'm not saying it's easy. Yeah, it's definitely trickier than Canada, for sure.
Okay, I'm also getting a lot of questions on costs. What will be the minimum cost to study masters in cybersecurity? But my total budget is 20 lakhs.
Not possible in Australia. Australia would be a little expensive. I think in 20 lakhs, Canada will be tricky as well. I would recommend Germany. Yeah, I would recommend Germany.
Cybersecurity, I think, good to go to Germany. University of
South
Australia.
Yeah.
Next question from Amanda Fernandez, University of South Australia, University of Adelaide for Masters of Accounting and Finance.
Adelaide.
Amanda. Meenakshi, yes, you can go to our website. There will be book a free counseling session with our expert counselors. Go there, click on that and book your convenient time for a free counseling with our experts. You definitely need a counseling, and Utsav has also said that I need a counseling. Guys, you're all welcome to LeapScholar and be a part of LeapScholar membership. So just go ahead and first check on with the free call that you get. So you'll be able to get your queries answered from the experts. And apart from that, you will know what is your correct path, what path you have to choose. So can UG students also work part-time in Australia? 19 years?
Yes,
you can.
Yes.
Okay, so we are almost done today. Saket, you have a session again, another, right? It's already 4. So guys, it was a really wonderful session with you all. Saket, anything that you want to convey?
Just that, guys. One last thing I want to say that maybe in case I'm not able to answer, like I think particularly few questions I was not able to answer, because see, I would always recommend that you actually get in touch with the counselors, because what happens is there are so many things in your profile that would be I can give you a general overview. Okay, apply to this or apply to that. But again, like I said, every university would have some sort of very particular entry requirement, and then for that, do connect with someone for a personalized session. That's going to help you. I can give you an overview, and but always recommended to book a counseling session.
Wonderful. So guys, wonderful. I hope you all had a great time. And of course, you did take home a lot of information in our session today. If you did like the session, do not forget to subscribe and click on the thumbs up Yeah, we are waiting for that, and we do love you for being here in all our sessions and showering all of your love. I know Saket does a lot of work behind the scenes before he comes to the class, right? So before he comes to you all, he has to do a lot of R&D, and then he comes here. So guys, please show us your love. Click on the thumbs up and just subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed yet. Thank you, everyone.
Right. Thank you, ma'am.